Representative Kupchick of the 132nd. You have the floor, madam.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise in support of this budget. A lot of people tonight, or today even, and this evening, have talked about the little guy, you know, their neighbors or their friends. Well, my husband and I are that little guy. We have a small heating and air conditioning business that we built up over the last 20 years. And we have made it through hard times, good times. And when times were good, we had 4 employees, which was a lot for us. We were able to offer jobs to young people so that they too could learn and work and save up money and even buy a home. And when the economy went bad, we tried really hard to keep it together. But housing prices crashed. Builders weren't building homes anymore. And so we couldn't afford to keep them. And so when other people talk about sitting across the table, we sat across the table and had to tell these young people that we couldn't afford to keep them anymore. And that is what's been going on in our state and in our nation for the last 4 years. It's a crisis. You know, our friends are electricians, they're plumbers, they're painters, they're landscapers. These are our friends, and they all run their own small businesses. And they don't get paid sick days. They don't get holidays off. They certainly don't get longevity bonuses. If they don't work, they don't get paid. We work 6 days a week, laboring 6 days a week, just like all the people that we know. And on Sunday, my husband writes proposals, and we do bills and get the invoices out. There are no days off. There is no overtime or comp time. That's the reality of 70% of the people who live in this state. They don't understand pensions and health care benefits. They understand working really hard and paying their mortgages and taking care of their families. So when I go out and do town hall meetings in my town, and people say to me, we can't afford it anymore. We can barely make our mortgage payments. Our house is not the same price it was when we bought it. So now we're underwater. But we can't move. We can't take our business somewhere because we can't sell our house. I mean, this is a serious situation. I mean, this is a real crisis. People can't afford the most basic things. And yet we're talking about raising taxes even more. I mean, I looked at the governor's budget. There's actually $1 million in there to put new voting boards in the House chamber and in the Senate chamber for $1 million. I mean, do we really need a new voting board? I just feel like there's just a huge disconnect between what's really happening in this state. And maybe I naively so, as a freshman legislator, thought, or I had this vision, that we were all going to be here together with our sleeves rolled up, and we were going to be working together as legislators for our constituents. That there wasn't going to be the Democrats' budget and the Republicans' budget, and that we weren't ever going to actually talk to each other. But that's exactly what happened. And I just don't understand why that is. And people ask me, how's it going up there? And I have to tell them the truth. It's not going that good. Because people aren't working together. We all represent the people of Connecticut. It's not about being a Democrat. It's not about being a Republican. It's about being Connecticut residents. And I really, maybe foolishly, hope that we could somehow figure out a way to do the right thing for everybody. Thank you, Mr.